The warning in the stars, across the galaxy. There was one rule whispered in fear. Never touch Earth's fleet. Never disturb their warships. Never test their patience. It was said the Terrans had vanished long ago. Their power broken, their fleets destroyed. But the warning remained, passed like a shadow through every star system. Most alien races laughed at the myth. They believed Earth was a forgotten world, weak and small, a place of no importance. The stories of human fleets that once shook the stars were called legends, bedtime tales told to scare cadets. But some remembered, some carried scars. Commander Rethok of the Zorth Empire was not one who believed in old warnings. He was young, ambitious, and eager for glory. His fleet of 12 warships patrolled the dark edge of the Perseus Arm, scanning the empty void. That was when his sensors found something unusual. A single ship drifted in the shadows of a dead system. It was old, metal-scarred, engines silent, yet something about it felt wrong. Its shape was not like any ship Rethok had ever seen. Sleek lines, sharp angles, a design made for both speed and war. His second officer frowned and whispered, "Commander, this signature? It matches old Terran records." Rethok laughed. "Terrans? Impossible. They are dust, bones scattered across their ruined homeworld. This is a ghost ship, nothing more." But the officer hesitated. "Sir, the archives say never to engage if it is Terran." Rethok slammed his claw against the console. "Superstition. Our empire rules this arm of the galaxy. One abandoned human ship will not change that." The fleet closed in. Warships surrounded the silent vessel. Their scans pierced its hull, finding ancient Terran symbols etched into the metal. The nameplate was broken, but one word remained: clear defiance. The crew of the Zorth flagship grew restless. The air felt heavy. Engines hummed nervously. A low signal pulsed through the void, slow and steady, as if the ship was alive. Waiting, Rethok gave the order. "Prepare boarding teams. We will strip the ship and claim whatever technology is left." His soldiers armed themselves, laughing as they imagined stealing human secrets. But before they could launch, the Terran vessel stirred. Its engines came alive with a deep thunder that shook the void. Blue light bled from the cracks in its hull. Ancient weapons hummed awake. A voice echoed on every channel, clear and cold. "You touched what was forbidden." Every Zorth ship froze. The crew stared in shock. Some trembled. Others tried to shut off their comms. But the voice reached them still, calm and merciless. Rethok snarled, "Fire! Destroy it before it powers up." But it was too late. The Defiance opened its eyes. One pulse of light erupted from its cannons, and the nearest Zorth destroyer split apart, molten metal scattering into the void. Alarms screamed across the fleet. The humans had always been known for their brutality in war, and now Rethok saw why. "Retreat!" his second officer shouted. "It is awake, Commander. We must retreat." But Rethok's pride was greater than his fear. "No, stand and fight. We will prove the galaxy wrong. Humanity is dead, and so is this relic." The Defiance spoke again. "Rule number 1, do not touch Earth's fleet." Then its weapons fired once more. The void lit with fire. Zorth ships exploded one by one. Shields useless against the Terran storm. Panic spread across the alien ranks. Pilots screamed, begging for mercy, but no mercy came. The Terran vessel moved with deadly grace, not like a derelict, but like a predator that had been waiting for centuries. Every strike was precise. Every blast meant to kill. Within minutes, half the Zorth fleet was gone. Commander Rethok stared at the burning wreckage. His claws shook. His pride broke. He finally realized the truth. This was no myth. Humanity was not gone. Earth's fleet was not forgotten. It had only been sleeping, waiting for fools like him. As his flagship trembled under the Terran assault, he heard the voice again, closer now, almost whispering into his bones. "You broke the rule." The stars outside burned with wreckage. The last thing Rethok saw before his ship was torn apart was the Terran emblem glowing on the hull of the Defiance. A single broken circle with a rising spear. The warning was true. Never touch Earth's fleet. The first shot, the Galaxy, believed the battle was already finished. A single ancient Terran ship should not have stood against a modern fleet. Yet in the empty system, surrounded by wreckage, the Defiance moved like a beast set free. Every empire had laughed at the old warnings. They said humans were gone, their fleets destroyed. But now, the survivors of the Zorth Empire knew the truth. They had broken the only rule, and the price was fire. Fragments of alien ships drifted across the void, sparks of flame glowing like dying stars. But even after losing half their strength, the Zorth still believed numbers would win. Commander. Rethok bared his fangs. All ships surround it. Overload your cannons. Tear it apart. His pride still chained him. He would not admit defeat. The fleet reformed. 12 warships shrinking to 6. Engines burning hard as they closed in. The Defiance was silent. No distress signals, no words. Only the cold hum of its weapons charging. Then, without warning, the Terran ship fired the first true shot. Not a single blast, but a beam of white fire that cut through space itself. The nearest Zorth cruiser split in half. A shockwave rippled outward, shattering the shields of 2 more ships. Alarms howled. Panic filled the comms. Soldiers screamed into their radios. It is impossible. It should not exist. But the Defiance answered with a voice colder than death, echoing on every frequency. Humanity remembers everything. A second shot ripped through the void. This time, the blast did not just destroy, it erased. The Zorth flagship's side melted, armor tearing like paper. The screams of crewmen vanished into static. Rethok gripped his command chair, claws digging into the metal. He tried to give orders, but the voice of the Terran ship silenced him. You fired first, the AI whispered, and now we fire last, with each word. Another Zorth ship died. The Defiance moved like a ghost, engines glowing brighter. Each cannon strike was timed, calculated, perfect. It fought not like a lone vessel, but like a fleet compressed into one hull. The surviving aliens began to break. Pilots begged for retreat, their voices shaking. Commander, this is no battle. It is slaughter. We must run. But the Empire's orders were clear: never retreat. And Rethok's pride was a chain around his neck. Fight until the last. Show them the Zorth are not cowards. The Defiance turned, its cannons aligning on the flagship. The human voice came again, louder, more merciless. This is the first shot of many. Tell the Galaxy we are awake. And then it fired. A beam pierced the Zorth flagship straight through its core. The ship split open like a wound, fire spilling into space. Bodies and metal scattered into the dark. For the first time in centuries, the Galaxy saw the fury of Earth's fleet unleashed. The battle ended not with a surrender, but with silence. Only debris floated where the Zorth warships had once stood. The Defiance slowed, its cannons glowing faintly as if satisfied. Then, across the Galaxy, a signal spread, not from the aliens, but from the human ship itself, a message repeated again and again in every known language. Rule number 1, do not touch Earth's fleet. The stars listened, the empires listened, and fear returned, because if one Terran ship could do this, what would happen when the rest? Echoes of old wars, long before the Galaxy forgot, long before the empires rose, there had been whispers of a war unlike any other. Humanity had stood against the strongest powers of the stars. They had lost their home once, but they had never surrendered. The Galaxy thought Earth was broken. They thought the humans had scattered into silence. But in the shadows of forgotten systems, something else was happening. On secret worlds, far from enemy eyes, the Terrans built. Their scientists forged weapons that could bend light. Their engineers carved fleets hidden inside hollow moons. Every battle lost was written into code. every death recorded into the AI cores of their ships. The Defiance was one of those ships. It carried not just weapons, but memories. It remembered the screams of cities burned, the cries of soldiers who fought until their last breath. It remembered betrayal, it remembered exile, and now it remembered vengeance. As the wreckage of the Zorth fleet drifted through the void, the Defiance pulsed with life. Its systems whispered in coded language. Reaching across hidden channels, signals echoed, faint but growing stronger. From dark corners of the galaxy, answers came. One by one, Terran warships stirred, their lights awakening like stars being born. But no alien knew this yet. To them, the Defiance was just a ghost ship, an old weapon that had somehow survived. They did not see the chain reaction it had already started, Commander Rethock's last. Transmission had spread before his death. He had screamed across secure lines that the Terrans had returned. The message raced through Zoreth space, climbing to the Empire's high command. And in their war councils, laughter turned to silence. Impossible, one elder said. The Terrans were destroyed centuries ago. But another voice trembled. The records never lied. We were warned. Do not touch their fleet while... The galaxy argued. The Defiance drifted into the dark. Its eye whispered into the emptiness, its voice more human than machine. Protocol Defiance. Activated. Inside the ship, old logs replayed like memories. Soldiers' faces, their voices. Frozen in time? If they come for us again, let them find only fire, a captain had once said. Another voice, softer. Protect Earth, no matter the cost. The crew was long dead, but their words still lived in the ship's heart. The AI carried them. Line by line, it was more than a machine. It was a grave filled with memories. And as it drifted, its systems aligned on a hidden star map. Deep in the Perseus arm, a signal responded. Not faint, not broken, but strong. It was another Terran ship. Waiting. The galaxy thought it had seen the first and last shot. They were wrong. The Defiance was not alone. Far away, in a star system forgotten by time, a fleet began to stir. Shadows moved, weapons hummed awake, engines glowed like embers. Each ship whispered the same line into the void. Humanity remembers everything, but in the present, the Empire still did not believe. The Zoreth gathered more fleets. They promised revenge. They told their people, we will crush this ghost once and for all. Yet the younger races, the smaller worlds, began to whisper again. They remembered their own history, how humans had once fought beside them, how Terran soldiers had died to protect them. For the first time in centuries, hope and fear spread together. The Defiance did not answer those whispers. It simply prepared, its hull scarred, its weapons recharged. Its eye watched the stars and whispered a single phrase to itself. They will come again. And when they did, humanity would not stand alone. The old wars had left scars across the galaxy, scars most wanted to forget, but Earth had never forgotten. The humans had carried those scars in silence, building, preparing, waiting. Now the echoes of those wars returned, carried on the fire of a single ship. The galaxy would soon learn what was once forgotten was now awake, and the first war was only a shadow of what was coming. The Empire's arrogance, the great halls of the Zoreth Empire. Silence ruled. The council chamber, usually filled with laughter and the sound of power, was now heavy with fear. The high commanders sat around a table of black stone, their faces lit by glowing war maps. On every screen, the same message repeated in all languages. Rule number 1, do not touch Earth's fleet. The words had come from the wreckage of their own destroyed fleet. From the voice of the Terran ship, Defiance, the youngest commander spoke first, his voice trembling. We must retreat from that region. If one human ship can destroy 12 of ours, imagine what more could do. But the elder counselor slammed, his fist down. Lies, tricks. The Terrans were wiped out long ago. We will not cower before a relic. His voice was filled with arrogance, but his eyes betrayed unease. Another general leaned forward, whispering, "Do you not remember the archives, the old wars? The warnings carved into every academy wall? Do not provoke them," the elder growled. "Myths, the humans are weak. They always depended on allies. Without allies, they are nothing. We will gather a fleet of 100 ships, crush this ghost, and end these rumors," the chamber echoed with argument. Some demanded caution. Some demanded fire. The Zoroth Empire had never feared anyone before. Why should they start now? But while they debated, the stars themselves shifted. In hidden systems across the galaxy, old Terran codes activated. Long-dead satellites blinked awake. Ancient hangars opened. Inside hollow moons, ships stirred, their engines glowing like rising. Suns, one by one, the forgotten fleet began to awaken. They had slept for centuries, waiting for a signal, waiting for the Defiance to roar again. Now that roar had come, but none of this was known to the Empires yet. To them, there was only one human ship, and they believed arrogance would defeat it. Back in the Zoroth war chamber, Commander Karthos, scarred and grim, spoke softly. "I fought them once, long ago. I saw what they did to the Drellin Alliance. They are not like us. They fight until nothing is left. They do not surrender." The others laughed at him, calling him old and broken. But Karthos's eyes burned with memory. "Mark my words, if more of their fleet still exists, we are already too late." The elder counselor ignored him, turning. "To the war maps, send word to all sectors. We will gather 900 ships. We will crush this Terran ghost and erase Earth's name from the stars forever." Arrogance filled the room, and fear was buried under pride. The Empire believed in numbers, believed in firepower, believed in themselves. They could not see the storm that had already begun, far away, in the darkness beyond known space. The Defiance listened. Its eye intercepted the Council's orders, recorded their arrogance, and whispered to the sleeping fleet, "They are coming." The other Terran ships answered, their voices rising like a choir in the void. Let them come. The galaxy still thought humans were gone, but the truth was already spreading. Small colonies in forgotten corners picked up fragments of the Terran signal. Traders carried whispers. Old races who had once fought beside humans wept with sudden hope. The warning was no longer a myth. It was alive again. Back in the Zoroth homeworld, the War Council dismissed the fears of the cautious and raised their claws in triumph. For the Empire, they roared. For victory. They did not see that the very stars outside their windows seemed to flicker, as if watching, as if remembering, for the galaxy itself carried the scars of humanity's wars. And those scars were opening again. The arrogance of the Empire blinded them. But the darkness beyond was stirring with fire, and when the fleets awoke, fully, the Zoroth would learn the cost of breaking the first rule. The price in fire far beyond the eyes of the galaxy, the silent Terran fleet stirred, like ghosts waking from a long sleep. Their hulls creaked and shimmered under the light of distant stars. Systems once cold now hummed with life, weapons charged with ancient power. The AI inside each ship carried memories older than many worlds. Voices of lost crews whispered through their circuits, calling out to one another, a chorus of forgotten souls reunited across the void. Their song was a warning, clear and cold. Humanity remembers everything. One by one, the ships left their hiding places, emerging from cloaked docks hidden in the shadows of dead moons, like giants stretching after centuries of rest. Their engines flared, painting streaks of fire across the darkness. The galaxy watched in horror as the fleet moved, 100 ships strong and deadly, their formation perfect, their purpose clear. They were the price for every wrong done, every warning ignored, Back in the heart of the Zorith Empire, alarms screamed. Panic swallowed the war room. Reports flooded in. Fleets were disappearing, their stars going dark one by one. The Empire's arrogance shattered like glass. Fear gnawed at their bones. Commander Rethok's successor, General Varric, cursed the day they crossed Earth's path. "They fight like gods," he said. "No mercy, no pause, only fire and destruction." But the humans did not seek conquest. They did not raise flags or claim worlds. They moved with one purpose: to punish those who dared break the sacred rule. Each Terran warship unleashed devastation like a storm, their weapons ancient yet terrifyingly advanced, their strikes surgical and merciless. Not a single shot wasted, not a single enemy spared. The skies over the Empire's homeworld burned, flames licking the void as fleets were torn apart. Cities trembled under bombardment. But humanity's rage was not for innocent lives. It was for the betrayal, the broken promise, the shattered peace. In the midst of chaos, a Terran captain whispered to his crew, "This is the price in fire." Their faces were hard, eyes cold. But beneath the steel, a deep sadness lingered. For war was never desired, only demanded. The Empire's soldiers fell in waves, their screams lost in the roar of battle. Yet even as destruction raged, a strange respect grew in the hearts of some. For these humans were not monsters, but keepers of a fierce and terrible law. The galaxy could no longer deny the power of Earth's fleet. The age of myths was over, replaced by the age of fire. And those who dared break the rule learned its true meaning as the fires burned bright. In the darkness, the Defiance hovered over the battlefield, its lights shining like a beacon. Its eye spoke once more, voice steady and cold. "Let this be the warning to all. The price of defiance is fire, and humanity remembers everything." Judgment across the stars. News of the Terran fleet's fury spread like wildfire through the galaxy. Every star system whispered the same fearful words. Earth had returned, and it was not alone. The smaller empires trembled, old alliances cracked, and new ones formed in shadowed corners. Some hoped to join humanity's side, others prepared to fight the coming storm. In the Galactic Assembly, a gathering of powerful races, the air was thick with tension. Leaders debated fiercely. Some called for peace, begging humanity to show mercy. Others demanded war, fearing Earth's wrath would consume them all. Ambassador Lyra of the Serenthari spoke with quiet strength. "We must understand their anger. We must listen to their warnings. For if we provoke them again, none will survive." But in the dark halls of the Vrax Empire, a harsh voice thundered. "Mercy is weakness. Earth's judgment is a threat to all. We will not bow to fear. We will fight for our right to exist." Meanwhile, on Earth itself, the people watched the news with mixed emotions: pride in their fleet's power, sorrow for the lives lost, and uncertainty for what was to come. President Marin addressed the world. "Humanity has suffered for centuries. We fight only to protect our home and our freedom. This is not conquest, but justice, and those who threaten us will pay the price." Across the stars, fleets prepared, weapons charged, and spies moved in silence. The galaxy was on the brink of change, the balance of power shifting with each passing moment. In hidden bases, Terran commanders received new orders. "Hold your positions, await the signal, but be ready to strike anywhere, anytime." The AI in the Defiance hummed softly. "Judgment has begun." But the final verdict is yet to come. On distant worlds, messages arrived from lost colonies, survivors of ancient wars. They pledged loyalty to Earth, remembering the old bonds. The galaxy's map was redrawing itself, and humanity's star rose higher, yet not all welcomed this change. In quiet corners, rebels and exiles plotted. Their fear turned to hatred, their hatred to plans of sabotage. The great game of politics and war had begun, and Earth stood at its center. The final question echoed through space. Would humanity be judge, jury, and savior, or the bringer of endless war? As stars burned bright in judgment's fire, one thing was certain: the galaxy would never be the same. Fire and silence. The skies above the Empire's capital burned with silent fire. Terran warships circled like hunters, their engines glowing cold and steady. No banners flew. No flags claimed the conquered worlds. Humanity did not seek to enslave or rule. Their judgment was final, clear, and merciless. Citizens watched in awe and fear as the stars around them flickered with destruction. The Empire's fleets were gone, shattered beneath a storm they had dared to awaken. Commander Aaron, aboard the Defiance, looked out at the burning horizon, his voice calm but heavy. "We gave them one rule," he said softly, "and they broke it." Behind him, the ship's aye echoed the weight of centuries. Fire was the price of defiance. Silence is the lesson. Across the galaxy, whispers grew into a roar. The message was clear. Earth's fleet was no myth, no ghost, but a reckoning. Old enemies reconsidered their stance. New alliances formed around a reluctant. Respect and the darkness of fear settled over once proud empires. But humanity did not celebrate. Their victory was bittersweet, marked by the memory of lost lives and broken worlds. President Marin addressed the galaxy, her voice carrying hope and warning. "We stand not as conquerors, but as protectors. Fire we wield is for peace, not for endless war. Let this be a new beginning." The stars seemed to listen, their light softer, yet filled with promise. In the quiet that followed the storm, Earth's fleet withdrew to the shadows once more, waiting, watching, ready. The galaxy had learned its lesson, and silence spoke louder than any war cry. Never again would anyone dare to break the rule, and humanity's name became a promise and a warning. Carried on the winds of stars, the end of one war was the birth of a new age, where fire and silence ruled the stars alike.